Nation of Ghana, and we come to the last person on the high table, somebody for whom we would not all be here today, the convener of this event, the founder of the Ministry of the Future, and he's been a teacher, an educator, an inspirator, a historian, so many big titles that you can give to this gentleman. He's got so much energy, you wouldn't think that he's of the age he is, moving around like he has batteries in his back. But please, let's give a worthy round of applause for Dr. Maulana. Oh, please, that's a COVID clap. Take your mask off your hands and clap well. Thank you very much, thank you very much. Doctor, over to you now.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I am so overwhelmed over this occasion. I want to thank all of you for attending. The first thing I'd like to do through protocol is acknowledge the high table. Even though the high table has been acknowledged individually, I would like to acknowledge them collectively. Thank you for coming. It is my pleasure. Brothers and sisters, this August occasion that we are in today, I want you to know that it did not fall from the sky. There has been over 35 to 40 years of work here in Ghana, and I give testimony to the fact that there has been over 35 to 40 years of work, hard work, to get to where we are now. If anybody in the audience think that this just flew in from the sky and is here, you're dreaming. You are dreaming. But this is just the beginning. I think what we need really to focus on, and this is the focus of where my mindset is. Our brethren and our sisters who are in the diaspora, in the United Kingdom, UK, in Canada, in the USA, in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, in Brazil, our brethren and our sisters are suffering, and they want to come home.
That's right.
Our brothers and sisters, they want to come home.
Yes, we do.
Let me hear you say, do you want to come home? No, you didn't say it loud enough. Let me hear you. Do you want to come home?
Yes.
Now what it is not a straight line as many of us would think, to go out and to come back. A lot of hard work has to be done. It has to be done dealing with international protocols. And we have to follow the rules accordingly. And many of our people are yet to be educated to what the roadmap is on coming back home, back to Africa, back to Ghana. Ministry of the Future, I want to tell you, and I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. I got my citizenship. That was years ago. I want to thank my big brother here, the Honorable Ni Kwesi Kwate. He told me that I should have had it 35 years ago. But Ni insisted with the former president that I should have my citizenship. So why don't we give the brother a clap for that? Because we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now if I didn't have it. But I told him, like Osai Jeffo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, Ghana's independence is meaningless unless it is linked with the total independence of the African continent.
That's right.
My citizenship, it meant nothing unless my brothers and my sisters get their citizenship. And that is what this battle is all about. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about all of us.
That's right.
And if we're going to change the narrative of Africa,
Come on with it.
Africa has been beaten down
Come on.
for too long.
That's right.
So we got to change that narrative.
Yes, sir.
And I tell you, I have lived in Senegal. I have lived in Morocco. I have lived in Mauritania. I have lived in Banjul, the Gambia. I have lived in Mali. I've traveled all over the continent. And it is the same. A change cannot come unless we infuse the African of the diaspora who was taken out here must have the right to return.
That's right. That's right.
You must have the right to return. And I am of the opinion that Africa cannot develop without the African of the diaspora.
Come on with it, man.
Because that not only is a physical principle, it is a spiritual principle.
Yes, sir.
How can you lose, according to UNESCO, 210 million people were murdered during the transatlantic slave trade?
Wow.
Can you murder 210 million people and can you get up the next day and do business as usual? There's no way. So a lot of life has been lost. We must acknowledge that.
That's right.
We must give homage. And the reason I'm bringing this up, I want to tell you something. If you don't know it, I made this statement during Emancipation Day in 2016. There is an African principle. It comes out of the Nile Valley of Kush. And it says, when there is a catastrophe in the village, did you hear what I said? When there is a catastrophe in the village, and many are dead, many die, many slaughtered, if you do not give the dead the rites of passage and their funerary rites, their spirit will elevate over the village, over the nation. And that spirit will hang over that nation and never allow that nation to progress until you give them their funerary rites.
That's right. That's right.
Now you have to understand where I'm coming from.
Come on with it.
There has not been continentally any funerary rites done for the African of the diaspora, descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. But I must say, there's one nation in Africa that did acknowledge that we must do a funerary rite for those descendants of the transatlantic slave trade. Do you know what nation that was or is? Anybody in the audience know? What is the nation in Africa that first acknowledged her children who had been taken out and told them to come back home? Say it loud. Ghana. We must give homage and respect to the people of Ghana. They acknowledged that their children were taken out from their mother's womb. And they said, come back. And we showed evidence of that. That Asin Manso. Asin Manso is the foundational basis of our right to return. And it's the foundational basis because if J.J. Rawlings, the late president, may there be peace and blessings upon him, if he can give blessings and citizenship to the dead and bring them and bury them at Asin Manso, why can't he give citizenship to the living? Do you hear what I said? If you can give it to the dead, why can't you give it to the living? So this is the rallying cry that has brought us here today. Never forget Asin Manso, that burial site, and in Suo Ndongo, the slave river. It is the epitome of our struggle. Asin Manso. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to give the others on the high table time to speak. But I want to say this on behalf of Ministry of the Future before I close. Ministry of the Future started with one pebble in the sand. And it endeavored and manifested itself to follow a straight line and to focus on the purpose of why we are here. Along the way, many charlatans that want to grab the credit. But let me tell you, brothers and sisters, it is not about who gets the credit. It is about who gets the job done.
That's right.
That is what you need to listen to. Not about the credit, but who gets the job done. And I want to take this time, and I want to give homage and knowledge chronologically to those brothers and sisters and myself who endeavored from 1990, right at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, asking then the PNBC, asking the NBC to give us our citizenship. I want to start with the late Nana Ben Akubo in Cape Coast. You may not know him. He was the husband of Imakus. Imakus was a part of this petition, endeavoring to get us to where we are right now. I want to acknowledge Fi Ankra under the late Nana Pajo Akpan I. They were a part of this. I would like to acknowledge we have a people here today, a couple, Uriel and his wife Shamaya. They were a part of this in the late 90s. They are here. Let's give them a hand, please. These are people who sacrificed. There are many others, and I can't think of all of them. But forgive me if I can't remember their names. But I want you to know that this is not a one-man show. This is not a one-man show. This is a collective. You have to learn in Africa. Africa is not a continent of individualism. Africa is a continent of collectivism. Now, last but not least, let me give the Chronicle where credit is due. Because we are in the period right now of beyond the return. But you can't go to beyond the return until you get to the year of return. And you can't get up the year of return until you get to the right of return. So I want to chronicleize it, the right to return, the year to return, and beyond the return. It was on the 28th of December, 2016, with the initiation of His Excellency Need Bracequarty, we said we had to do something. We wrote a narrative, presented it to the former president, John Dramani Mahama. We told him we wanted citizenship. He didn't hesitate. But do you know what? To my surprise, when the calling went out to give our brothers the application for citizenship, they didn't believe it. They said, oh, this is a joke, man. They ain't gonna give it. And many of them walked away. But when we did get our citizenship, they come running back and say, oh my God, I wish I had been in that number. So on that note, on the 28th of December, 2016 at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, the president said, and I'm quoting him, do not give me any praise for the act that I am doing today. I need no praise. Your right that you had was taken away from you. I am only returning your right back to you. And that was the basis of the right to return. Never forget that. Citizenship is one thing. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. You can get a Chinese citizenship. You can get a Russian. You can get a British white man citizenship. You understand me? But we are talking about the right to return, meaning that we were blood of this soil before we were kidnapped, and we were kidnapped. So the right to return is important. Now, let me fast track. The year of return, the right of return in 2016, it created a tsunami tidal wave that went on Twitter, went on Instagram, all over the world. About 15 million Africans of the diaspora said they wanted to come to Ghana because of what they heard. So, as you probably know, we were in the midst of an election. The former government, the NDC, they lost. Then the NPP came to power. And we want to give homage and respect to His Excellency, Nana Dakwa Akufo-Addo. Let's give credit where credit is due. It was him that said the year of return shall be hosted by Ghana, and we want to invite our brothers and sisters of the transatlantic slave trade back home. So that was in 2019 for the whole year. But I want to point something out, if you do not know it. On that year of return, don't take this for a joke. Ghana, don't take the African diaspora for a joke. The African diaspora left $2.2 billion within a year in the coffers of Ghana. Are you aware of that? Are you aware of that? 2.2 billion. And that 2.2 billion is nothing but a drop in the bucket. The Africans in the diaspora, particularly those in the U.S., they have a powers purchasing income that's equal to the 5th largest nation in the world. Trillions and trillions of dollars, and they're wasting it for nothing. Let's bring that money to Ghana. Do you think that's the right thing to do? Yeah. Bring the money to Ghana. So I want to say that the year of return was so sweet that government stepped up to the plate and said, no, we ain't letting that go. We're going to have now beyond the return. Now we're talking about a decade, a generation, maybe even a century, maybe even a millennium. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, I am very honored. Ministry of the Future is very honored to see your faces here today, and I pray that you will join Ministry of the Future, because we are here to help you. We got a legal firm to help you when you have legal problems. We have a land commissioner, 45 years of experience. This office is in there with us to help you so you don't get scammed over the land. We have all of these entities, and they're not for us, they're for you. So join Ministry of the Future and support government in its efforts on what they're doing beyond the return. Let me get a clap. Beyond the return. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless you almighty. Thank you.
Do it better, 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 do it better. So much energy when he spoke. You saw flint in his eyes, very emotional spasms in his spine, and then he's been marching on. I know this great man all the way when I was a student learning in the Padmore Library at Ridge, and he comes to sit in one corner, reading. A lot of energy, a lot of philosophy. Yesterday he was on radio for like 2 hours, telling the reason for the season. Amazingly amazing. What did I learn today? We all heard of the year of return. We heard of it. Now, what I'm learning today is the right to return. It's your right. Now, my fresh understanding to the whole movement is beyond the return. So after this, what's going to happen? After this meeting, what's going to happen? After this listening and inspirational, thought-provoking speeches, what's going to happen? Now, Droda, it's going to happen. But before the Drodai happens, I will invite Kweku. Kweku has so much energy as well. We've done radio way back. Big brother extraordinaire, he knows it all. He's been doing this town hall meetings for a long time. Drodai is a company. Drodai is a household name in Ghana. And what do? They put up buildings, they give up lands that are litigation free, that they got roads, light, water. And the Drodai piece, I won't take the wind out of the lungs of Madam.